FC. Hello and welcome to Walsall United with me, John Foster, MUFC. Manchester United women's team 3, Spurs 0. Excellent results. 6 games on the trot, 6 clean sheets, 6 straight wins. A lot of happy things to discuss. We have got a few other things to talk about as well. Obviously, we need to touch on the Millie Turner injury, the fact that we saw Tara Bourne at the end of the game as well, celebrating with the players on the pitch. And also what we heard today about Maria Edwards looking as though that she might be staying with us until the end of the season. So we'll get into all this. Hello to John in the comments already. Let's say hello to everybody. Colin, start off with yourself, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, all good. It's been a good week for United, hasn't it? It's both men and women. It's felt good actually, refreshing to be a United fan for once because a few weeks and months ago it was getting a bit draining, but no, it's looking good. It's looking good.
Yeah, absolutely, it is. Craney, how you doing, mate? You okay?
Yeah, all good. Just pretty much similar to Connor, like you said, it did get draining. I think, listen, bloody life's draining as it is when you're working as well, without the football messing up your weekends. So I just think, I think especially from like the women's point of view, and everyone's talked up the midfield, but I think later on I want to talk up a little bit of the defence as well. 6 clean sheets is some going, so. Yeah, refreshing. Then Arsenal and City worked out well. I think a draw. Yeah. I was thinking an Arsenal win, but then I thought actually looking at the table now, a draw is probably better. So chuffed with that. So yeah, good weekend all around.
Yeah, and John Hume in the comments. Am I right in thinking that you went to both games, John? Just stick it in the comments. If you did go to the City game, let us know what you thought.
I saw John. I can answer that. I saw John yesterday and had a chat.
Oh, lovely, wicked. Okay, and quite a few people in the comments who went as well, which is great. Anthony, first of all, how's your voice?
Yes, good. Yeah,
make the change.
You never know. You never know, do you? With me, if it's going to be there or not. But no, it's still in fully functional order. Obviously, I'm very happy to, like the others two have pointed out. With it, even the men have not let us down this week. So, but the women just keep picking up the points, not letting the goals in, which is great. Mary with a bit of history. I believe we've never kept 6 clean sheets in a row or 6 clean sheets or something. Mm-hmm. And Mary's done that. So that's great on a personal level for her as well as the team. So all in all, good. Morale's good. We're all happy. Happy players, happy fans.
Yeah, and everybody in the comments is happy as well.
Yeah,
which is great. Yeah, we'll get like the Millie Turner situation out of the way first because obviously this is going to be a positive show. So we'll say what we have to say on Millie. The actual app said she's out for an indefinite period, and the issue with her artery in the neck. So, Matt, to start off with yourself on that one, I mean, we don't know obviously too much about it, but I think it sounds more serious than it did at the start because the fact that there's so many people messaging you on Twitter, players included. I mean, on that one, makes me think that it's going to be longer than just a week or two that she's out. Which obviously we didn't know at the time. When it was at the ground, we didn't know the extent. Great to still see Millie actually out and about, which is good. She was still obviously there. But obviously a massive loss, but also for her as well. This is the second time that she's been injured this season.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not going to go too much into the first one. It was one of them things I just think unfortunate. But this one, I can't remember after the game. I was chatting to a few people and somebody said 2 weeks, but I'm not buying that. Listen, I'm not some sort of expert, but I just think something like that, knowing what it could lead to, and again, I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to, I don't want anyone to sort of start putting stuff out there. It's incorrect, but knowing what could happen or what it could lead to, it is serious. Obviously, it's an artery, so I've got arteries all over your body. But I'm not going to give you a science lesson. But yeah, I just think it's one where we're right to manage it, and I think it said on it that she's not going to be training, which just shows you that if she's not going to be doing any training, it's anything under stress and sort of pressure, isn't it? So. Right that they've taken that approach. I think it's great the medical team have picked it up. It is going to be a big blow, and I think might have been Saturday's show with me and Ben, or it might have even been a show last week, and I said I'm a little bit worried because if we get injuries to the back line or suspensions, it's going to be a little bit difficult because for me, we're a little bit thin on the ground there. So in that respect, it is a blow, but her health comes first. So I think I'd rather be them finding it now than something further down the line be picked up and it be an issue for her or develop into something bigger. So I think, yeah, it's difficult to comment on it really. You know, they kind of throw news out and obviously it's somebody's medical information. So, you know, they don't share, which is rightly so, but can only just wish her all the best and hope that, you know, whenever she's back, she's back. If it's next year, it's next year. That's fine. As long as she gets sorted, I think that's the main thing really.
Yeah, just to back that up, I think that is the main thing, you know, that she does make a recovery and comes back to football, you know, because we don't know. I'm not a scientist or a medical person. I can't go into the detail of what it means, but I think Matt or John, one of you made a good point there. The fact that all of the players almost dedicated that to her, I think they probably know that it's. I'm with Matt. I don't think it's 2 weeks. That's probably the season for me, and you're probably looking at next season now. So it's tough. Especially because that back line was in good form. I know we kept another clean sheet yesterday, but Millie was a very key part of that this clean sheet run that we're currently on. And like Matt just said, you know, we're one injury away from dropping, you know, Ladd back potentially, or then you're bringing up Tara Bourne, and it's just from something that looked really strong. You know, we were rotating centre backs. Maria played on the right, you know, at right back and things like that. So now only having potentially two. And then you're looking at makeshift centre backs. It could be a real problem. So it just goes back to the old question, doesn't it? You know, is Skinner going to get backed? I think this will probably force the club's hand. But I think, yeah, the underlying thing for me is obviously I hope she returns back at some point because obviously we don't know how bad this could be. And yeah, credit to the medical staff for picking it out early because, you know, if she'd have played on or trained on or whatever and, you know, made it worse, then, you know, that wouldn't be any good for her either. So it's a huge loss because, like I said, she's been an integral part of this clean sheet run. But the main thing is that she recovers and, you know, hopefully see her, hopefully before the end of the season. But I'm not holding. I wouldn't, you know, hold me to
that. Peter will answer your question shortly. Just Anthony, just your thoughts on that news when we saw the starting 11 and gradually found out that Millie was injured.
Yeah, it was not great to hear. Obviously, like you've touched on, an indefinite period. It's don't think it's ever great when they can't give you a time scale. If it was 2-3 weeks, then great. But I agree with the boys. I just can't see it. She potentially could be out till the end of the season. Someone in the group, I can't remember who it was. It might have been Craney or it might have been Nat. Was going on about a Sheffield player with a similar injury, and she's only just coming back into training. So if that was at the start of the season, then you look how far we're into the season already. So that goes to show, yeah, it's definitely an end seeding health issue, unfortunately. But obviously, we wish Millie the best, getting back to health and that. But on the business side of things, I do worry. Have we got players in the devs that are good enough as backup to have us seriously challenging for it?
Well, let's ask about that question. Because
I don't want what happened last year. I'd like to think we'd learn and get a couple, but 5 days till the window closes, not really any rumours flying around. So it's not looking good on the getting players in. Like you said, he doesn't want anyone nilly-willy, but I still think he could do with a couple of players. But whatever they decide to do, but I just hope it doesn't come back to bite us.
Well, Matt, there's a question on screen here that kind of links in with what Anthony was saying.
Yeah.
How would you go about it? I suppose I could all just say what we would potentially do.
Well,
and then we'll move on to the game.
Yeah, just slightly before that though, just touching on sort of what Anthony was saying about, could we potentially bring somebody in? I think the issue we also have now, and obviously not only like the right characters and stuff, what sort of Mark was talking about, but it's this late now. Clubs have seen that, you're not going to get a centre half on the cheap. If anything, that'll encourage clubs knowing we're desperate to whack up the price, whether that's a loan or a permanent transfer. So to link that in then with that question there about would we recall Tara Bourne, I mean, the thing is for me is that she's playing regularly at Sheffield now. If we recall her, does she go into that side ahead of Thor? And the answer for me is no at the minute.
No.
Just because of, well, the level that Thor's played at for a career. Obviously Tara's a dev and Tara's one for the future. And another thing, I think for me, I prefer Tara as sort of a CDM, maybe centre mid. I don't think centre half does her the justice. She's a ball playing, sort of defensive minded player, but I think her passing ability and what she offers for me is better utilised in a CDM or a centre mid. So that begs the question: are we doing her a favour by bringing her back? If the answer is we bring her back and we play her, then fair enough. I can have no arguments. But you've got to ask: are these players ready, both physically and quality-wise, as well as mentally? I don't want to see players obviously thrown in. That said, it's Bridgewater at the weekend. But then to bring her back and she plays means we can't loan her back out because she can only play for 2 teams in a season. So then is it worth recalling her for 1 game for Bridgewater? Probably not. I just think she's better either left at Sheffield or, I don't know, if she's not happy at Sheffield or people want her back, I think I'd rather reloan her out. If she comes back, I'd be like, right, let's send you elsewhere if Sheffield's not working. I mean, listen, we don't know. Obviously, it's this and that, isn't it? But I just wouldn't want to recall her. Similar to the Amy Palmer situation a few years ago, we recalled her and then she didn't play for 5 months. It was just a shame, and then we got rid of her. And I just think you're not doing the player no favours. If they're happy and they're doing well, great, keep them there. If they're not, send them to another club.
Yeah. I think the problem that we're up against is a nice problem in one sense, is the fact that we're still in both cups as well. So, the defenders are going to have to play a lot of games, aren't they? And we was already short at that's one area. And I think we're saying to Connor on the journey up there or back yesterday that's one area that Skinner's not been able to rotate that much, the centre backs, because we just don't seem to have that many of them, and now we've got one less. So, and it's a very obviously demanding time. When you're playing City and Arsenal and Chelsea, consecutively, it's going to be very demanding for them. If it wasn't for that, I would still think that we'd be okay. Hayley Ladd can be the third option. Mannion and Thor together would be okay, and then Ladd as an option. But I think the fact that we're going to be playing 2 games a week quite regular, I think that is going to make us.
Is it not an opportunity to try 3 at the back? Because I'm just thinking. I mean, listen, Ladd can play at the back. I've no issue with that. The height bothers me. Mm-hmm. That's the only reason I'm thinking, can we play sort of a Manny and a Thor and someone else? I don't know. It's difficult though, isn't it? Because 3 at the back when we've got more fullbacks at present than centre half. Yeah, it's difficult. Yeah. But I think somebody put further up. I think it was Norman there. Yeah, can Blundell play centre half with Smithy? I mean, I don't know. It's an option, isn't it? But I just think Hayley keeps the midfield ticking, and we all know what Hayley brings to the team. I just think by taking her out and putting her at the back, it's going to be hard, isn't it? So I think, but then if injuries dictate and we lose somebody else at centre half, we've got no choice. So it's all lifts and buts in it, but this is why we sit here and have a lovely chat.
It is, because we've all got our own way of doing it, and Hayley Ladd's been absolutely fantastic for us in the last 6 or 7 games. But we have got an abundance of centre midfielders who could not do the same job as Hayley, but I think they're closer to Hayley than maybe Tara Bourne is closer to. So,
sorry, I'm just going to send some love back. Where's it gone? There.
What's it? I don't get it. 3A.
No, other way around. Love the 3. I'm not sold on a 3. Only against the teams that are bobbins. Just options for me. But hey ho, not sold on a 3. Don't put me in that back 3 category. It's only if needs a must. Desperate times call for desperate measures.
We didn't play back 3 yesterday. We actually we looked quite fluid yesterday. I think that was probably one of the best games that I've seen us play in a very long time against a good quality opposition. I'd look at the stats afterwards. I think we only had something like 55-60% possession, if that. It seemed to be a bit more, but I think the last 20 minutes probably we kind of let Tottenham come at us. I I think if I was would just have one downfall, and I would say this, but I think it's a positive, it would be the fact that when you have a look at how many passes that we made and how many were completed, I think there's a scope there that we can improve, which makes me think if we can win 3-0 and still have so many misplaced passes, where can we go, from here, which I think is great, and I'm sure Skinner will be working on that one. Anthony, just what's your thoughts on the actual game itself first before we start breaking it down?
Well, 3-0 was great result. With my odds on show, we did predict that there would be 3 goals. I wasn't so confident on keeping the clean sheet. I just thought maybe we'd let a scrappy goal in, which we nearly did, but we didn't. Luckily, that header right at the end, near the end, she managed to glance it wide somehow from like 2 yards out. So no, it was great. It was great that we managed to keep the clean sheet again. We were never really in danger. I can only really remember Mary having to pull off one save really and claim a couple of crosses, punch a few crosses out. So she wasn't really challenged at all. It was you could tell we had a game Wednesday night, especially the first half an hour. First, it took about half an hour to get into it, really. It was a bit like tic-tac. We had the ball, they had the ball. With the ball mainly, but without really doing anything with it. And then as soon as we got that first goal, it just gave us the belief. And then we obviously got the second goal just before half time, and that just it sort of finished it off really. Obviously, we still had a job to do second half, and fortunately for us, Ashley Neville probably had one of her worst games this season. And where you think, she should have kicked it away pretty easily for some whatever reason, she's totally made a hash of it. And thank you very much, Leah said. Just a shame it wasn't Jackie.
Yeah, well, Anthony, just sticking with you on that one, regarding Tottenham, we came into this game, it was probably favourites because obviously we went like 5 games winning streak and Tottenham have started to slip a little bit. But what do you think's kind of gone wrong with Tottenham there? Do you think we just outplayed them, or do you think they've hit a slump? Or, you do the odds on show every week, and we usually say that Tottenham would take the points. Obviously, not this week against our own team, but Tottenham have had a great start to the season, but they are just slowly slipping away now, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, but we just didn't let them play. We didn't give them a chance. We know Tottenham have been very good defensively, but we just didn't let them. We were quicker to the ball, especially the first 2 goals. I watched the highlights back, and obviously Boarisa just wanted the ball more, especially Hayley Ladd with a sort of diving header thing as well. They just wanted the ball more, whereas normally Tottenham have just been first to the ball. No, thank you, not today. Please try again soon. But we just played our game, was patient in the first half, got the 2 goals. And I think we were expecting that Tottenham were going to sort of show the side of their squad talent eventually. I think we mainly believed that Tottenham were in a slightly false position, not through no credit of their own. They deserved to be there. They defended well, got their close wins. So not through fluking it. You can't just defend well and grab a 1-0 win without being good. Because you look at United, when we were struggling, we were scoring the 1 goal, but you couldn't guarantee us to keep the clean sheet. So I think it wouldn't surprise me if Spurs finish fifth, potentially could finish 6th if Reading carry on with their They're great form. I think they've won like 6-7 games recently, so they're on a real good. So I think Tottenham will be 5th, 6th by the end of the season.
Yeah, and just to follow on from that, Anthony talked about clean sheets in the defence. Want to add a little stat, did a little bit of research before this, John, such is the nature of our presenting now and our guest quality. So last 6 games, we have had 5 shots on target at us over 6 games. So you think the rest have flown over the bar or whatever. 5 shots in 6 games. So this is why I'm saying it's not really a surprise based on that, because the defense / the midfield has worked that well together over these last 6 games. If you'd have said that would happen sort of 2 months ago, people would laugh at you, because we usually get absolutely peppered at goal, struggle to create chances, struggle to finish chances, and now sort of here we are 6 games later with a complete head flip. So it just shows that getting the right balance in midfield, Haley screening the back 4, and a bit of consistency, absolutely flying. And I think that's worked well. Andrew says there, we controlled the game throughout. I think, to me, yes, we did, but I think we've probably controlled the last 5 or 6 games as well. For me, anyway. I just think, obviously we're talking possession, and listen, I know possession's not the be all and end all, but possession's looking better, but it's looked more fluent, like we're doing something with it. There's less to me, to you, to me, back to you, back to Mary, give it them back, and a little bit more, maybe 1 or 2, and then it goes. And I think that it just looks better. The movement looks good. Like Anthony said, Mary Earps had 1 save to make. She'll be getting that Persil washing powder deal soon with all these clean sheets. But no, bad jokes aside, I think another. Connor's fuming. That's a proper dad joke, that, isn't it?
Stick to football training.
That's it. Listen, mate. If it's not you, Anthony, it's me. And if it's not me, it's Ben. So somebody has to do it. But I just think it's
these shows was live.
Listen, mate, I'm happy with that. You get them in the group, you get them on live. Connor's not recovered from this, so I'll waffle a bit more to let him calm down. But I just think, like I say, obviously, excluding Bridgewater at the weekend, the 3 games after that are sort of, I'm not going to say define the season, but they're more important for me than the rest. We obviously go for Chelsea in the cup to make our first ever cup final. We go to Arsenal away, who we've just recently beat, and we go to City, who are the 5th, 6th. God knows, can't keep up with that far behind, but they're behind anyway. So, it's going to be interesting, I think, if we can take something out of, the 2 league games, then it should be, absolutely flying. But we'll see after the cup what happens. Obviously, we've got a little bit of England thrown in there as well. But, I'll let Connor come in now. He seems to have got over the bad joke.
No,
do you want to answer that question on screen first, and then I'll ask you another question, Connor, because you'll like this question.
What's it say?
Just on the game, do you think it should have been more than 3-0 in the end with the amount created?
No, not in this one. I think we created some. I don't think we absolutely dominated in terms of the other games we've seen this season. Brighton away springs to mind, where you think, we should have scored much more than we did. Maybe could have added 1 or 2 more, but I don't think we had loads of clear-cut chances. We just felt like we had a lot of the ball and control of the game. And like Matt said, it all starts from defence, because if you've got the confidence behind you that you can go forward, knowing that you've got a solid backline behind you, and Lad kind of hold. But we all talk about Lad as this holding player and this integral part to the defensive side of the midfield. But she's cropping up with goals half the time. She's running past Russo in the middle. So not only is she helping out defensively, she's also on the end of crosses as well, as we saw for the second goal. I mean, it's great. It always, epitomizes team performances when you see stuff like that. And I said that second goal to me just epitomizes it, because you've got our centre defensive midfielder, the furthest forward, alongside, Russo, our striker. So, I don't think it should have been more than 3. I think that probably was about right. I think someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the first time in the league that Spurs have conceded more than 2. So we're the first team to do that to them this season.
Yeah.
It was always going to be tough. Spurs don't, me and Anthony said on Friday, Spurs don't concede, but they also don't score. So I think we got it. The game plan was spot on. Got 3-0 up, 2 just before half time, and just controlled the game then. We didn't need to do any more than what we did. I think, yes, it would be nice to go for 5 and 6 and really put a statement out, but we've got, like Matt said there, those 3 games. Is it worth really going 100 mile an hour when we're 3-0 up against Spurs, when we've got Chelsea, Arsenal, City coming in a couple of weeks? It probably wasn't worth it. So I think that's why we maybe sat off just a little bit, just to reserve some energy and obviously the risk of injury as well.
Yeah. I do want to come to something shortly, but just on that one, when you talked about like lads like getting into the box and scoring goals as well, there was an opportunity there where I think he might have been Lad. It must have been Lad, because it must have been Lad or Tooney. Literally ran from the halfway line, got into the box when a cross was about to come in. No one picked him up, and if the ball had found, there should have been in like loads of space. And that's just like again running in from deep where no one picks you up. Last minute kind of run into the box. And this is what's going really well at the moment. Just some of these runners just aren't being picked up, and that's where we're getting some of these goals. But judging by the comments, judging by what we all think here, it was like a very controlled performance. Last time we played Tottenham, Skinner come out and says we was controlling the game and something along the lines of we were comfortable. We ended up drawing the game 1-1. So, Connor, do you think that was more of a comfortable game, I guess, on this occasion?
I'm going to be a little bit controversial here. I said at the time, so it's not, I guess, controversial, that we did actually control that away game. Spurs didn't offer that much in that away game. And I think I said this to you, John, on the way back, that when things aren't going well and when we're drawing games and losing, you microanalyze everything the manager says. So every little detail of his press conference, people were picking up on. Whereas now it's going great. We don't care what he says because, it's going well and it's, everything's brilliant. So I think there was a little bit of that added in. It was more controlled in the sense of what's the one thing, if I could pin down one thing that's changed in the last kind of 5 or 6 games, the players know automatically on the football pitch where their teammates are going to be. So that run from Lad makes the run, for the second goal, Lad makes the run forward, Zellum drops deeper, or Berisa will drop deeper. If Zellum goes forward, Lad will stay. If Berisa goes forward, the other two, they know where they're going to be. Like I said, that second goal, Toon's not even looking up. It just comes for a first time and it's in. Right on, where Lad's running into. And it's not just the midfield, the whole team are doing that. If the overlapping runs, if when Mannion and Maria had the ball, a midfielder was dropping into kind of collect the ball, and that's something we've not seen all season. I kept saying to you, John, I was sick of saying it to you. Why are the midfield not helping out? Because there was like a massive 20-30 yard gap between our defence and midfield. Now somebody's dropping deep, and they just know where each other are. So that's the most impressive thing for me. Yes, we're controlling games, but I don't think we were as bad as people made out. It was just the Spurs in the reverse fixture was just frustrating because of the way it ended, because it being so late, because we were only 1 goal up. But I think if you watch that game back, we had chances in Spurs away. Leah had a couple of chances. Russo had a really good chance towards the end as well. We did have chances to kill that game off, but we didn't take it. And that's the risk you run when you're 1 goal up. So, yeah, we're just we're a better team now. I actually don't think we're playing still. It might sound a bit ridiculous. I still don't think we're at our full potential yet. There's still some players that I don't think have hit the full height. And that's a positive. But the main thing is we're playing as a team now. They know where each other are on the pitch. And when you do that, and when you're winning games and you go beat Arsenal away midweek, it's confident. Football, if you've played it, you'll know football is such a confident sport, and it's such a momentum sport. When everything's going great, it's like I said earlier, when everything's going great, you don't read into everything as much, and it's all a happy camp and that kind of thing. These players will know now. They'll go into every game believing and listening to what Skinner's saying, because when it's not going so well, you think, oh, he's telling us to do that. We're not winning. Now they'll be listening to him, going, oh, it clearly works, so let's try that. Yeah, so it's going good. And I said it's more of a collective team performance rather than individuals now, which is much better.
I think just dead quick on that, John. Sorry. It sort of follows on. Obviously, Connor there was talking about sort of belief in that, and I think as well when we are scoring goals, the ones that we miss isn't as magnified. We're sort of getting away, like you said. If you're 1 up or even 2 up or 2-1 or whatever, and it's a little bit risky, you do look back, but you think when we're controlling games and we're 3-0 up or we're 5-0 up and we still could have scored 10 or whatever. It's not as magnified, which I think in a way probably helps in terms of confidence anyway. And obviously in terms of Mark and that, I think he's probably not, again, like you said before, nobody's probably analysing the words. Either that or he's toned it down a little bit. But yeah, just thought to throw that in there.
Natalie just mentioned Vilde Reese, and we'll talk about her very shortly. John Camoa said that second goal was incredible, and I think that's kind of what I want to talk about a little bit, just like some of the passages of play. And Anthony, I'll bring you in on this one as well. I don't know if you saw it, but I was standing next to Connor, and me and Connor, I kept on nudging Connor, saying, "Look, it's done it again." Just little 1-2s, passing and moving. When you haven't got the ball, you just run into space, and all these kind of things. The very basics, but there was always a pass on. And, it was very rare that there was like an incident where a ball had to go longer. It was like a 50-50. It was very often the case where players knew, going back to what Connor says, players knew where their teammates were going to run into, so they knew that there was going to be space there as well. Do you just want to kind of touch on that, Anthony, just the way that we're playing at the moment? Because we do seem to have a lot more confidence and almost a bit of swagger when we've got that ball now as well.
Yeah, that is going back to how we were before, isn't it? When we weren't doing so great, we were getting frustrated. We were like, move there for a pass and move. And we're doing that now. We're not staying static. We're actually, once we've done our pass, we're thinking about the next passage of play, which is evident to see in another reason why we're doing so well. So no, it's great. I think that Tottenham game, there must have been some words said, and they took it all on board with professionalism, and credit to them. All the results since just shows it, especially against Arsenal, where we just battled, got that 1-0 win. I'm still not over it, but you have to move on. But no, they say it's an easy game, don't they, football? But it's only easy if you make it easy for yourself. If you make it hard for your opposition by passing the ball, passing move, never in one place, then you're pulling the defenders out and that. So they're getting tired as you're doing that, and you're conserving. You're not. Even though you're using a bit of your energy, they're guaranteed to be getting more tired than you because you're pulling them out here and there, and then that's where the space is created. And like I touched, when the ball came in, I believe was it from Tooney for Hayley Ladd's goal. I forget sometimes because I'm so carried away singing along and that. I'm like, yeah, but you could just see that Hayley wanted the ball more. Now, in previous weeks, I don't think that goal happens. I think we haven't got somewhere there so eager to get the ball that the Tottenham defence couldn't clear it. I think a few weeks back ago, that ends up on a Tottenham head, or we might not even have got in that position to cross. So credit where credit's due. But I don't want to put a downer on things, but as good as it is now, we could be speaking in 3 weeks like, oh, well, we're at the Conti Cup, we lost Arsenal. So we don't, football changes, doesn't it? So, but let's hope, fingers crossed, we carry on doing what we do and have a healthy, fit squad. And
the difference here is, Anthony, though, this time we've got some credit in the bank. So we've just won 6 games and got clean sheets. It'll probably be 7, so it'll probably be 7. So we can lose against Arsenal or City, and it'll be disappointing. But we can still say, well, look at what we've achieved so far. I think at the start of the season, when no one knew Skinner and they were just looking on Wikipedia about Orlando record, it was like, this, that, and the other. It's only going to get better as well.
Yeah, we need to be avoiding defeat against City.
Mm-hmm.
I think, in a weird way, the City game is bigger than the Arsenal game for us, just because City are behind. They're the chasing, and we know what happened last year, don't we? When Arsenal were chasing us, goal difference. So, but the difference this year is we're actually chalking some of that goal difference back now, and there isn't really any major thrashings in the WSL. Like what's the highest score been? 6 or 7 goals this season, I believe. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But in previous seasons, we've had like 8s, 9s. Arsenal have had I think they had an 11 against Bristol City a couple of seasons ago. So I think that just shows you the nature of the league now. It's getting better and that. So we just need to keep what we're doing. And if we do have a setback, then we just need to watch it back, see what we could have done better, and then move on to the next one. Like Mark says in his interviews, it's one game at a time, and we can't underestimate Bridgewater. Yeah, we should win, but if we turn up with the mindset of that dodgy pitch and that, it can be exactly the same for the women's FA, can't it? Magic of the FA Cup. So we've got to do a job on Bridgewater, and then concentrate on the 3 most important games of the season so far. One game at a time.
Yeah, and obviously we spoke a lot there about like control and the way that we've been playing, and our midfield obviously helping the defence, so we haven't conceded any chances and we're scoring a lot more. How much do you think is it down to Bo Risa playing and that midfield 3 now of Zellum and Ladd who've played in the games? Go on, Anthony.
I've mentioned it before. It's no coincidence that Bo Risa and Hayley Ladd have been in the midfield. Fair play to Mark Eddy's reasons, Vilda settling in, but Ladd was on the bench pretty much until November. It's no coincidence that having Ladd in. I've always said it, even in the first season of the WSL, we concede less with Ladd on the pitch, because having Ladd on the pitch, we know, and I said it on my show to Connor the other day, I'm pretty sure, that we know Hayley Ladd is the glue. She stays back deeper, and that gives the license for the other two to go forward a bit more and create an opportunity and an opening. So it's no coincidence, and it just shows that Vilda is now getting into it. Like, she's getting her goals, creating chances, and you can tell that she's happy. So it's all good. I'm fantastic, and long may it continue. And I think Bo Risa, there's more to come from Bo Risa as well. I think she'll regularly start scoring. So all in all, good. It's all starting to come into click into place.
Yeah, 100%. I think for me as well, I agree with what you were just saying. I think the only thing I don't agree with to an extent, I think Ladd is the holder in terms of that, but it goes back to what I was just saying. A lot of the time, she is the furthest forward sometimes. And I think it just comes with the understanding that midfield trio have got a very good understanding of where each other are on the pitch. So like I said, if Ladd goes, Zellum or Bo Risa will look around and one of them will drop deeper, so they're not exposed coming the other way. And that's something we didn't have. Whether it was Zellum and Jackie or Bo Risa and Zellum, whoever it was, there wasn't that understanding. They'd both go, and there'd be a massive gap then to the defence, and it left us exposed, and that's why we leaked a lot of chances. And I agree as well. I don't think we've seen the best of Bo Risa. You hear, Phil and Mia that were on the show last Thursday talking about Bo Risa and how good she can be, and she will get to that. Playing in this system, it seems to suit us. I think it was a show that we did with Phil talking about Bo Risa and her kind of attributes and things like that. She finds those little spaces that I don't think anyone else can do. Maybe Tooney sometimes, but none of our other players really find those little spaces. She's very good at finding them. It just opens it up. Like I said, that midfield 3 just seems to work. And I said a few weeks ago, and I think people are starting to see it now, that Jackie's going to have to play her way back into this side. She doesn't walk back into that midfield anymore, whereas a few weeks ago or prior to Christmas, you'd probably say, yeah, we need Jackie back in there. At the moment, you can't really change those 3. They're on the form that they're on, you can't really afford to take any of those out. So it's good that we've got a problem in terms of you've got a brilliant player in Jackie to come in. As soon as one of them drops just a little bit, then you bring Jackie in. That's a really, really good problem that Skinner's got now. So, yeah, I just think it's the understanding. and I know people don't like it as much, but I think moving Ella Toon out wide, although I don't think that is a permanent solution, it seems to make Bo Risa better, because I think when you play Ella down the middle as well, they're kind of getting each other's way. They want to do the same thing. So moving Ella out wide, it kind of frees up Bo Risa and Zellum to do what they're best at in the middle. And some of the passing that Bo Risa pulls off, it's brilliant to see, actually. Bo Risa and Maria actually play some long balls for once. It's something we've been crying out for all the time. Like I think me and Matt spoke about it on the show, that we always have to go through each player to get across the pitch. Bo Risa and Maria, funnily enough, will just ping one across the pitch. Brilliant switcher play. They've both got a great pass on them. So, yeah, it's like I said, Jackie's going to have to play a way back into his team, but it's a brilliant problem to have. And I'm glad more than anything, because the midfield got criticised a hell of a lot. And a lot of people said that was the main issue with our side. So the fact that they're now the standouts, that midfield trio, is brilliant. And like I tweeted yesterday, I retweeted someone's tweet yesterday. It's no coincidence we've gone on this winning run and clean sheets. Now Lad's back in the side, I don't think.
Mm-hmm. And not just Lad, because obviously Bo Risa got the goal, Zellum assisted, Lad got a goal, and Toon assisted. So you got like 4 midfielders there contributing to like 3 goals.
Even Zellum's playing some good crosses now. He's contributing. Yeah, if there is one thing you can say about Zellum, is sometimes she does give the ball away needlessly, but I'm not sure if I've got to give her credit though, like, because she's always been a bit hot and cold with people, but recently she's contributed to the team well. The free kick against Arsenal, cross yesterday, so fair play to her, because if people put it on Twitter, we've mentioned it before, it's a smaller world, the women's game, so if the player reads it, which they're more likely to see it because of the amount of followers they have, if you're not strong, it can potentially get to you. But I think she's worked hard. She deserves credit for that.
I'll tell you what.
Sorry, John. Just one final point. I know you want to jump in and match them, but the one final thing I want to say on this midfield as well that we're finally seeing is something. I don't know why we weren't doing it, because Skinner repeatedly said it in early press conferences. This midfield are getting stuck in. None of them are afraid of a tackle now. We're seeing it all the time. You know that Zellum and Toon, obviously we saw what happened with Arsenal with the manager there. They're getting, arguing with referees. Not that I want to see that all the time, but they're going into tackles. First balls, second balls, going up for headers. They're not scared of going for those anymore. And that, whether that's Lad's influence, whatever it is, but it's really good to see Bo Risa and Zellum now doing it. They're proper going into tackles, and that's what we've been crying out for. That, and it's something Skinner's been saying since the start about aggressive in tackles and like stamping your authority on a game. That comes from defence and obviously midfield as well. Midfield, obviously, where most games are won. So the fact we're stamping authority in midfield, I think it was in the first 5 minutes yesterday. I think it might have been Bo Risa put a fantastic tackle in. Got the ball, but went through the player as well. And I thought, that's what I want to see straight away, right from the start. Get stuck in, and then it oozes confidence for the team that you're playing for, but it also puts the other team on edge. You think, oh bloody hell, she's not scared of a tackle. I need to be a bit, stand a couple of yards further away from her. So that's just the final point I wanted to make on that midfield.
Yeah, I just want to agree on what Anthony said as well. I mean, like, it doesn't matter how many times you give the ball away or what people's weaknesses are. If you're still assisting and scoring as much as midfield 3, 4, if you include Tooney in there as well, then it's obviously still working, isn't it? I can't remember the stats there, but obviously we've probably scored around about 21 goals in those 6 games and conceded 0. Whatever we're doing in that midfield, no matter what negatives we're doing, we're still keeping clean sheets and we're still scoring loads. So it's just great to see, and I want to bring Matt in on this one. Jackie Groden came back on as a sub. Great to see. Fans was wishing her to score a goal. I wish he would take a chance or two. Just at least try and score instead of just keep on passing it. But I know Jackie said in the past she preferred to assist and score. Go on, Anthony.
She should have pulled. I watched it back briefly. That one where we were begging her to shoot. She should have pulled the trigger, but she went in, and then the chance had gone.
Yeah, go on, Matt.
No, I was just going to agree with what you both said. It seems every time she gets the ball in and around the box, she looks for the pass, and it's, I don't know. It's the old saying, isn't it? You don't score. So I think it's going to be difficult. Like Connor said before, I think it's carefully, but it's the right thing to do.
Do you think, Craney, do you think it plays on her mind, all these missed opportunities, and that maybe why she's a bit more hesitant to take a shot on now? Did you hear us?
I don't know if you can hear.
Oh, has he forgot to pay his Wi-Fi?
Well, we can answer that between us until.
Yeah.
I don't know if it actually plays on the mind because they are professionals, and if they wanted to score, I think that they'd be a bit more greedy and take a few more chances. We know Jackie's not that type of player. This isn't just 1 or 2 games. This is like 2.5 seasons now. So, we know what type of player that she actually is. And with us, keep on singing and screaming. She'll score when she wants, and everything else that we sing that we'll be on the pitch. She's going to be fully aware of all this, but I don't think she's that way inclined anyway. I don't think it's on her mind as much as it's on our mind. So that's the way I look at it. Matt, are you back with us?
Yeah,
sorry.
I realised I was on mute. And I might nodding along like, yep, John, I'm back. Yeah, I was on mute. No, I'm good. I'd finished anyway. It just went a little bit funny, and I could hear Anthony sort of stringing something together, but I didn't get what he was saying.
I was asking, do you think all the chances that Jackie has missed plays on her mind a bit, or do you agree with John where if she really was desperate to score, she would be a bit more selfish and greedy and just shoot at every opportunity that she could have?
Yeah, no, I agree with John. I think if she wanted to, not that she doesn't want to score, but I think if she wanted to be selfish, she could. And the fact that she isn't is probably her character or the way she's playing. Listen, she's not really been a goal scorer, has she? It's not as such her job. And I know a lot of people say that, but it is true. If you look at the goal scoring records, it's not, it's not up there. It's not like a sort of a Frank Lampard where he was a goal scoring midfielder to chuck that in, or something like that for comparing to women's game, maybe a Farrah Williams, so it'll come one day. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. But I think it's just like I said before, it's like easing her back in, build her up, and then working out, is she a better option than somebody else in there to take us even higher to the next level?
Yeah, I agree. I think I agree with what's been said. I don't think it plays on her mind at all. I think maybe us chanting will be on the pitch when she scores, maybe puts her off a little bit. I don't know, but I think you could see that yesterday. We were all like kind of praying for her to score, but she wasn't making those runs into the box. And I think if she really wanted it, she'd make those runs into the box. Yeah. She'd make sure she was always there. And the fact that she doesn't, I think, it's not an issue as if she's not a goal scorer, she's not a goal scorer. Obviously, we'd all love it as fans. But as long as she performs well for the team, I think that's the main thing.
I want to shout out Fuso as well. Every game that I've seen her play this season, she just does something to excite me. It's like she gets it. The speed that she runs with, she runs at defenders at with or without the ball seems to be like second to none. It seems like she's like our quickest player at the moment. The 1-2s, the technical ability. When you see her play right in front of us, when she plays on like the right hand side, that's where we obviously stand, and we can see that. And for me, I'm just really, really impressed with Fuso. So I just kind of wanted to spend just a few minutes, just everyone's kind of saying, to me now, Fuso was like our first choice game changer, because I think she can actually change the game. I don't think she scored as many, but I don't think she's up in that position. I think what she can do is really like build up an attack. Matt, do you want to come in on Fuso? Because obviously you've seen him a few times this season yourself, and she's kind of like, not to prove me wrong, but I had my doubts at the start of the season because we hadn't seen much of her. So it wasn't really like, nothing against her. We just hadn't seen much of her. And I said this is going to be a make or break season. But I think the way that we're playing, with some of this intricate passing and the passing and moving as well, I think that suits her as well.
Yeah, I think it's one of them, and I'm sort of big on when players come from abroad, a lot of them take time to settle. Now, injuries didn't help the cause, and like you said, we've not seen her, but I think, Mark sort of picked her out on Wednesday and credited her and said, she's had to be patient. Most of her chances have come in the Conti Cup and bits sort of coming off the bench in the league, which is spot on. I think, we're slowly starting to see form and confidence come out of her now. And listen, what is she, 19 years old? So there's a lot to come from her. Like you say, probably one of the first options now off the bench, and it's good to see. And I think it's difficult because, coming to a new country, obviously different language, getting settled in as well, having so many injuries, having to mentally deal with that. I think, fair play to her. And obviously, Hansen took a bit of a knock the other day, so she's probably getting chances now even more so. And obviously, she's probably a direct swap for Leah, or whoever else is out wide, when everyone's back. So, yeah, obviously Pete's asking now, let somebody else answer that. But, yeah, it's good to see.
We might all have different answers for this one.
Well, I'll answer it then. I just didn't want to keep waffling and taking off somebody. That was all. It's not that I didn't want to answer it, but I think for me, it's difficult on that. It is a good question because I seen her a lot in the cup and she played as a 10 and she was great. But then equally the last few sort of games, she's come out wide and done all right as well. I still think for me, I'm undecided. Like I'm not now going to say one or the other, which is like why you say, John. Somebody may say different, but I just think for me, she's played well wide, but she's also equally been as good as a 10. She started off playing a 10, then he swapped to wide. So, yeah, we'll see. She may cement down some, but I think at the minute wide.
Yeah, I'm saying white wings.
On the fence.
Yeah, no, I'm saying out wide as well. I'm not saying that she can't do a number 10 role, but I think she's at the best when she's running out wide and cutting in as well. Go on, Connor.
I'm gonna. This sounds like I'm sitting on the fence, but there is a point behind this. I think she's an inside forward, so she's not a winger and she's not a 10.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is she's got. I mean, someone just said there. Stuart just saying she plays like Messi. She's got very, very good low center of gravity and can keep the ball very well. Obviously, her pace helps as well. But I don't think she's an out-and-out winger because I don't think her. From what we've seen this season, her passing ability is not a level that you'd want from a winger. Your winger would be putting crosses in, like Leah you see on that side, putting crosses in. When you see Kirsty, got a good cross on her. I don't think Ivana is quite that. But that doesn't mean she doesn't fit in a Skinner side, because as we know, we don't play with full natural wingers that go out wide and put crosses in. So Ivana would actually probably work quite well because she's got good ball retention. She can keep hold of it quite well, runs at defend, and she's a really, really good squad player to have. She might force her way into the first team, but at the moment as a squad player, because when the defence is tired, you want a player with a bit of pace to come on, and Ivana is probably the quickest in our squad at that. And when she's coming off the bench running it, we saw it against Spurs, that run she went on, lucky not to score. That's what you want. Your game changes off the bench. So yeah, my answer's inside forward, and I want to see more of it, to be honest, because with obviously Hansen out, we don't know how that how long that is. She was still limping a bit yesterday, but so that might not be too long. So she's going to get on more opportunities now, and in a Skinner side, I think she's an ideal player for it, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. So we're all kind of agreeing on the wide position. Anthony, I mean, could she start up front? Would you like to see her play more of a number 9 at any point?
Nah, not up front. I don't think. I'm not sure if is she strong enough. Maybe if she has someone up there with her, but I couldn't see it on her own. I just don't think she'd be strong enough to hold the ball up against the kind of defenders we have in the league. I think with her pace and that, you're looking at the wing or inside forward, like Connor said. But I've not really seen enough of her to go into too much. But what I have seen from her has been good. But yeah, a winger or something, because she's not afraid to run at defenders, and that's what you want, someone who isn't afraid to take on. Hopefully she'll get more opportunities, and I think she will, which will be great, and then I can have a proper opinion at the end of the season when we do the end of season review, because like I said, we've only really seen her in the Conti Cup and a couple of league games, so I've not really had much to see of her yet. But the striker role now, I would cut that one out. I wouldn't contemplate that.
We'll talk about Maria Edwards shortly. Just get everyone's play of the match then, as it's been a bit of a match reaction show. Anthony, do you want to kind of start off on your thoughts? Anyone stand there?
It's a hard one. I'm going to go for Barisa.
I think it's going to be one of two, isn't it? From maybe. Stick them in the comments. Go on, Matt.
I was going to go Haley.
Yeah, well, this is what I'm saying. One of two, I think. But yeah,
Was that your other one? Yeah, no, I'm just going to go for Lad. I just think, like obviously we know what she does, but I think getting another goal as well and sort of flying in at the back from that wonderful ball in by Tooney. It's easy to sit here and give it the people that sort of everybody notices, but I've always said that Haley flies under the radar and is massively underrated, and I think, yeah, just quality again yesterday and topped it off with a goal as well, topped off a good team performance.
Connor?
Oh, I'm glad you've come to me last because my one of two actually. One of them is Haley Ladd, but the second one I don't think would be on many people. I'm going to give it actually to Mannion because the reason for it, I think she is the calming kind of influence on that back line. Haley Ladd is obviously another part to that, but she had a couple of occasions where the ball got in behind, past the midfield, and Mannion was always there. We saw it against Arsenal as well, the composure on the ball. Her and Maria were brilliant yesterday at those kind of switch of play and just keeping it ticking between Lads and the two centre-backs. They just kind of kept the ball away from the Spurs attackers. So, yeah, I'm glad someone else agrees with me. I think it's between those two. Barisa and Tooney are not far behind. But, yeah, I'm going to give it Mannion.
One quick thing as well. I'm glad Leah's starting to get some form as well. She's getting some goals now as well, which is great to see because she did have a period where she just wasn't doing what we know Leah can do.
Yeah, mine. I'd probably say Lad. I think Mannion for the Arsenal game, 100%. I watched it back at like 4:00 this morning. Funnily enough, I can't remember who I was messaging at 4:00, but it's one of us lot. I know, crazy times. Yeah, literally, I haven't had a chance to watch it back because I've just been like so busy. So I was wide awake. It's about 3:30. Went downstairs, brought my laptop there with me, and watched the Arsenal match back and on the FA Player. And I'm still waiting to see the Tottenham game back. I don't think it's on MUTV or anything from what I've seen just yet. So
it was. I was on last night though.
Oh, okay.
But,
I don't think it's on demand, is it? But I'll check that one anyway. But Mannion was absolutely amazing in the Arsenal game. And she did well again yesterday. But yeah, I think for me, Haley Ladd on this one. A couple of minutes just to talk about Maria Edwards then. Emma Sanders says that he's looking like that, even though there's been talks of her going on a dual contract or going out on loan. It looks like she's going to stay. If she's going to stay, then we've got a player. Matt, just your brief thoughts, and we'll just go around on what we need to be doing with Maria Edwards now for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think the topic come up, didn't it, back when we had Emma on the Monday transfer special show at the start of the window, and I think we all sort of said her and a couple of others, dual loan out, which means she still trains with us. She can play the 21s or the devs, whatever you want to call it, and play weekly at a championship side. And I think, that was mentioned by Emma today. I think that's what we need to do. I did read something about they want to hold her back, and I'm not sure why, because she's scoring 4 or 5 goals every week pretty much and assisting in the devs. The level's too easy for her. And that's not a disrespect, but she needs challenging. She tore it up at Blackburn last year. Get her out on loan. You're not doing her any favours by letting her play against kids that aren't the same standard as her. So dual contract, dual loan, whatever you want to call it, is for me the way forward, and let's get her some more experience now.
Yeah, kind of, I know you haven't seen much of her, but obviously, how would you kind of treat someone who's potentially going to be a star in the future at such a young age, who's doing absolutely everything right at the moment? Would you kind of want to keep her around the senior players and learn the Man United way, or get her some game time in the Championship?
No, definitely game time. Because I haven't seen any of her, so I'm taking Matt and Natalie and Atano and other people that watch the kind of the devs a lot. That I think by the sounds of it, she's too good for that level. There's a few players on the men's side that are too good for that level, so you loan them out. Obviously, the difference with the women's, obviously, there's only a limited number of teams you can go to get consistent game time. I'd like to see her go down to the Championship just to get that experience of playing against tougher opposition, because you always reach a ceiling at whatever level you do when you're under 14, 16s, 18s, 21s, whatever it is. When you get to that level, you need to then go and test yourself against someone else, because it's great she's scoring 2-3 goals a game, but she's not learning anything. She needs to go and play against other players and different types of defenders to kind of craft her game a little bit and then bring her back. So I think it's a shame really that Bridgewater game is when it is, because if the Bridgewater was this weekend, you could have played her this weekend, then loaned her out. Obviously, with that Bridgewater game being when it is, obviously a decision's probably going to need to be made pretty soon as to what happens there. So yeah, I'd like to see her loaned out just for game time, because you cannot beat learning, and she'll learn a lot actually by playing games, but also off new teammates, because you want to try and get players out of their comfort zone sometimes and put them in a different squad where they're going to learn different things. So yeah, I wouldn't want to see her in a relegation championship side, but go and stick her in a team that's fighting for promotion and get that experience down there.
Anthony, just end the show with yourself then, Marie Edwards. I mean, we've been excited to see her ever since, I think, was it the pre-season, just before season 2? I think it was in Norway. She got on the pitch, and I think ever since then we saw like the first sign of her. And how excited are you to see Maria finally break into this starting 11?
It'll be great. I'm always excited to see young, talented players get into the squad. I'm like Connor though. I haven't really seen much of her. Like, I should be a bit more on the desert, maybe try and keep an eye on them a bit more. But I've been a bit behind on that. Obviously, I've heard names from Nat and Craney that float about, and it's normally the same 2 or 3 people. So I do believe that a loan move would be good. I don't think you got the FA Cup this week, but for the sake of one game, you don't keep her. I think we've got enough options in cover for where Maria plays, so I don't think that's an issue either. It would be very hard to see her get any other game time. So a loan to like a championship club, like Connor says, or I'm going to ask Craney something. Does Craney think she'd be good enough to get game time in one of the lower WSL teams, or
Yeah.
you do? Yeah.
Didn't know if you finished then. Yeah, no, absolutely. Listen, somewhere like Coventry, Sheffield, who else is down there? I don't know. If we're talking local-ish, I mean, Coventry's not that local, but Sheffield's only an hour. Coventry's a little bit further. Then those 2 teams, I'd fully back her to go and walk into them teams. She's done the job at Blackburn, so. Yeah.
What about WSL side?
No,
because that's what I said. I said no. That's what my question was.
Oh, sorry, I thought championship.
No, I said no. I said after. Do you think she could get in any of the WSL sides down?
No, not at the minute. No, I'd be going lower to mid championship, and just build it up. Obviously, Blackburn's lower, isn't it? So you're looking at your mid. I don't quite think yet. There you go, John over at Sunderland. That'll do. Perfect. Send it there.
Well, this is the thing. This is what we said at the start of the season. She had such a great season at Blackburn. You'd have thought the next step up would have been, obviously, championship again this season. Just keep working your way up with like better clubs. But so I was really surprised that she wasn't loaned out at the start of the season, and now it doesn't look like she's going to be loaned out again. It does make you wonder what the plans are for her, but there will be something. She's next in line. So it's going to be hot on Skinner's mind. It just makes you wonder, what that plan actually is. We come to the end of the show. Matt, give us a bit of a rundown what to expect for the rest of the week, mate.
Yeah, so tomorrow there's me, Gareth, and Ashley. We're discussing the recent report that was sort of done by the WSL or the governing bodies about sort of attitudes towards women's football and the sort of the abuse that mainly sort of females get, whether that's for playing football, whether that's female fans getting it off male fans, stuff like that. So Ashley's obviously, plays herself. She's a development squad player, and she's going to give us a bit of insight just into that, whether she hears it, whether she's had anything like that thrown her way, what she thinks of it, how can we sort of stamp out these stereotypes, and how do we need to change attitudes? I read something yesterday from El Leak at Blackburn, and
remember that.
it was just ridiculous. Is the appropriate word I can use.
That was about Burnley, weren't it? Burnley men.
Yeah. Burnley men's fans with just ridiculous comments as per same old rubbish that we're here. So we're going to talk about that because I feel that's an important topic. And like I say, Ashley will be able to give a really good insight to that, sort of over myself and Gareth. Wednesday, Natalie's got Susie Rack and Richard from Football Fans Collective on. They're talking sustainability. Thursday, John, obviously, there's your show. Friday is obviously your show again. Fans
Well,
Forum.
it's a transfer deadline day Friday, so it's something slightly different on Friday with it being transfer deadline day. So look out for that one.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to bring your yellow tie out?
And then,
Maybe I'm going to go out and get one tomorrow. Maybe that's what I need to do. We'll see.
maybe he's going to change his green screen behind him to Sky Sports Studio as well.
Shall I?
Yeah.
Oh, that's an idea. Let me write it
Do
down
it.
in my.
Get it on notes.
Yeah, here we go.
Well,
Anyway,
now he's 50.
Hey?
Now he's 50.
Yeah, thanks for that. Who put that on MUTV?
Yes, your
Love that.
birthday. Yeah, and then obviously Saturday's me and Benny and Sunday's game day. So, yeah, you can stick that in your bio now, John. Isn't that the right thing to do, like Bateman does? Had a birthday shout out from Wenger at least.
Maybe.
That's your claim to fame, that pal. Had a shout out. Big
It was very thoughtful. It was very thoughtful to say that it was my 51st birthday, and everyone looks at me. Everyone looks at me as well. Brilliant. Peter in the comments says, "Would Sheffield United be too challenging for her?" No, because I'm basing that on what Lucy Watson's doing there. So I think whatever she's doing, I'm sure Maria could
she'll
kind of
tear it
master
up
one.
at Sheffield.
Yeah, and do you think Carter could play in cup games? Let's put Maria in first, and then get Carter involved next season. That's the way I would go for it. But thank you to everyone tonight. Real excited show again. Thank you to everybody in the comments as always. Please subscribe if you're new, and go across to Connor's show. What time is it, Connor? 9 o'clock. Your show?
50 minutes. We'll be covering. We'll cover the women's side as well. Obviously, 2 wins in the last week, and obviously the men's side as well. 2 wins as well. So we've got 4 wins to talk about, and all of the academy one as well. So it's literally been a faultless week for United. So yeah, about 50 minutes time, we'll talk about all of that.
Awesome, brilliant. Thank you very much, guys. And we'll catch you again soon.
Thank you.